Nah, I did a little talking on this video. Ooh, you know what I haven't seen yet? The Beatles film Get Back. I haven't seen it yet. I remember seeing Let It Be when I was a kid. I had it on video. I recorded it off Cinemax like back in the late '80s. So I just watched it over and over. And that's what that was filmed for. So they filmed all this like a whole month just to get 1.5 hours of footage. That's weird. I mean, and they sound all that footage. It's like, oh, the Beatles performing stuff from Abbey Road and Let It Be and coming up with stuff and Paul Redding get back on the spot kind of thing. But we're not gonna put it out there. We're just gonna let it sit in the vault. It's not very important. It's like rare that you ever see footage of the Beatles in the studio. You know, even in Sergeant Pepper, they had like little clips of them in the studio, maybe, or from '64, like 30-second clips. You don't actually see them working. You know what? You go, well, it's the most famous band in the world. You would think, why not have a camera crew go in there and they would like record them while they work, and so you can see how the greatest band in the world, works and then writes. I think they would do it like in '64 or '65, when they were in the height of their fame. Oh, well, they didn't help them. They could have been there or Rubber Soul. Ooh, they just had some cameras. Oh, just put the camera in the corner. But no, that never occurred to anybody. No, that's not really good. Of course, they didn't want to be recorded. It messes with the creativity, but still. But it was cool that they were able to accomplish it. I think it's Paul. I think probably he always came up with really good ideas. So to record them, like, because I guess they own United Artists and other, they were like, on a contract for like 3 movies or something. So they didn't help Mars and then they needed owe them like one more picture. So they thought, hey, let's record a documentary. Ooh, I was recording some new songs and getting back to kind of, which is which was cool because they did Sergeant Pepper, and then they were kind of that's very gimmicky, a lot of studio stuff, and then they did the White Album, which still had a little bit of gimmicks, but it was little White Album kind of got back to their more rock and roll, but then they wanted to go all the way back, Paul got the Hofner and. But I guess Let It Be. But people always go, well, this just shows us how they really worked. Not really, because they tended to work quicker than that. They tended to take quicker. You know what I mean? It's like this is them stretching it out. They were like, spend like a few weeks rehearsing this stuff. I mean, usually the Beatles like didn't really. They rehearsed it like for a day, and then they went in and recorded like 2 songs a day or something like that. That's usually how they worked. So this was a little different than they would normally work. This is kind of more stretch out so they can just start jamming on stuff too. Which, you know, but when you look back in like '64 or '65, listen to this tape, they just kind of they don't really have a lot of time in the studio, because everybody, a lot of other bands were booking stuff too. So they might have like a day in the studio, a couple days in the studio, and then they kind of did a lot. They went in there and just kind of worked. They didn't actually like kind of jam on things. They just kind of had rehearsing the song and then and then they recorded a few times. Like you see them on the old footage of like No Reply or some of the songs they did. It's just kind of working at it all 8 days a week. They just kind of, out. Didn't really take a week to rehearse it. But this of course was for the video in '69, so of course they did take time. And that was the whole point of it, to take time for them to jam and stuff. And they get a recording and they do a live performance. That's from my understanding. I have not seen Get Back, but as a kid I used to have a lot of these bootlegs, so I heard a lot of this stuff. You know what I mean? So I actually knew like Glyn Johns was there behind the recording desk. I knew that because I used to have these bootlegs when I was in high school and stuff. So I knew, but there's little bits that they didn't, that hasn't even been seen. I mean, I've heard some of the stuff, but I've never seen it. To Get Back shows a lot of it. I've seen a lot of bootleg footage of Get Back stuff. But yeah, so but it was like this is the process of them writing. But it isn't that normal process. It was even different for them. You know what I mean? Because they didn't have a camera crowd normally, and they kind of elongate the whole. Take a month to like just rehearse them. So they would record a whole album in like a week. So they would like write songs and then for a week, and then the next couple of weeks they would like do the album. So like the first album was done in like one day. So. Okay, that's enough of that. I don't know what to say.